All right, welcome everyone. We'll wait a bit here while some of you guys are filtering in. We're excited for you to join us today. I'm Lynn Thomas with Arenas for Change, and also known as ARCH, and we provide training and certification for professionals who incorporate horses and all of nature, the whole equine environment, in their mental health or coaching or education practices. And we have a wonderful community of lots of very experienced practitioners who have lots of wonderful knowledge to share. And today we thought this would be a really timely topic to share about how to deal with the cold weather. And who better to talk to than a team who's been doing it for 25 years in Minnesota. And they are here on the screen with us. You can see joining us while being outside in the winter. So welcome. I see some of you guys are on, and if you guys have comments or questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And I think we'll go ahead and dive right in then, you guys. So we have Lynn Moore, and I was like, you could wave, Lynn, if you want.
Hi.
And Heather Jeffrey with Acres for Life. And maybe we'll just start off with you guys just introducing yourself and a little bit about Acres for Life, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Well, hi everybody. Lynn Moore with Acres for Life, co-founder and CEO. Been doing it, as you mentioned, Lynn, 25 years. Also part of the Arch Creator team, and doing this work for a long time, obviously. I'm a MH and also an equine specialist. Yeah.
I'm Heather Jeffrey, Acres for about 20 years, and I'm the COO and a therapist E-type and a C-type. To be with you guys.
Acres too. Oh, maybe we'll show you really quickly if I can turn the camera around. I can't.
Technology.
Here we go. Hang on. Right, a back camera. So Acres sits on 60 acres. We have several pastures where we work. There are offices with the horses and nature and other animals. We do have an arena. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't necessarily use it very much or in the cold weather. And then there's stuff up the area. So we started 25 years ago where we saw we had 3 one-day workshops in that year, the first year we were in business. And then last year we finished out the year with completing 3,600 sessions. We go year round. When we started, we did not go year round. And we see people from 3 years old to 97 years old. And all sorts of health diagnoses. We do some team building. We do groups. We work with veterans, school groups, first responders, families. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thanks you guys. Yeah, lots of comments coming up.
My nose is getting cold.
Yeah, excited to see that you guys are outside for this. And yeah, we weren't sure how it would be with the reception and all, but so far so good. So thank you guys for living what you're going to be talking about today. Yeah, and Eleanor mentions, I imagine it gets pretty slippery in the wet and frozen wet. So we will definitely get into that, Eleanor. But anyway, so Lynn and Heather,
Yes,
I think the very first question I would at least have is, is why do you do this? Why would you want to do this? Actually, before we even get into the why, give us the what's your temperature gauge? And I know we're in Fahrenheit here probably, but what's the temperature range you guys are working in when we're talking about winter?
Well, a few weeks ago, it was 50 degrees cooler than it is right now. So minus 35, minus 25.
We still did sessions, guys.
We still did sessions. And then today it's 25 degrees above zero. So it's
heat wave.
Pretty balmy. Yeah, there's a little bit of wind. What really kind of our outdoor sessions are how long we stay out. Well, client wise, they determine if they're like not able to be out in the cold. Some have extreme sensitivity to temperatures, and so they may want to be inside, or we bring a whole do some art or just different things inside our barn, which is only heated to 45 degrees.
Which
So
is balmy. When it's 25 below, 45 feels amazing.
exactly. So our clients determine if we're outside or not. Most of them will want to go outside, I would say, at least for a little while. Then it's the wind. It's the wind chill that really determines where, if we're going to be at risk, and our what we wear and how covered up we can be and keep our skin protected.
We have a team member who says when it's that cold, just be sure you have a smile on your face. So then when your face freezes, at least you're smiling.
Oh my gosh, I love that, you guys. So, okay, yeah, and I don't know if you're getting to what tell us a little bit about why you're working outside, and maybe the story of the weather in general, about how that has played out.
Yeah, so I had a huge block about the weather. I'm a native Minnesotan, and I've done things outside all my life in the winter, but when it came to doing therapy outside and when we were starting Acres, I was like, huge block. Like, nobody's going to come and want to do sessions outside or go to therapy and be outside in the cold. It was my own SOS and obstacle or block. And I remember starting a business, right? And we are wanting to keep it going. And yet we would close for part of the year. So our rhythm in the early days from 2002 to, I think it was almost 2008, maybe. Well, we signed our first annual contract with Hazel and Betty Ford in 2005. So we had that going pretty smoothly, routinely. They would be bringing clients out in groups and all throughout the week, from April 1st to December 1st, December 15th. And then we would close because who, in my mind, would want to come out and be in sessions in the cold? Because we didn't have an indoor, we didn't have heated space at that point. We had panels and pastures and winter coats. So, but when you're growing a business, it really isn't prudent to shut your business down every year and then go to start it back up and get the team lined up again, get people trained, get the organizations that you're working with sending clients again. Plus, the clients themselves, right? It's not like their mental health needs stops for the winter in the cold. It actually, Minnesota a lot of times gets worse because of the darkness we're in. We don't have as much light. It gets dark here 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening, and things are cold, dark, lonely, empty in the winter, and that's usually when spikes in mental health go. So it was in 2008 we decided, it was this idea of, oh my gosh, well, 2000 end of 2007, we said, people go out and do things here in Minnesota in the winter all the time. They go ice fishing, they go skiing, skating, the Olympics. We had a lot of people there. Anyway, I thought about an ice house, a fish house where people go put that on the lake and they put a propane and they sit in there for hours. They enjoy it. Sometimes they do it on purpose. Yeah. And they look forward to it. So we thought, well, what if we created a little ice house, fish house, but put bigger windows in it, so that we could do observation, a little heater inside. And we just went to the winter, and that's where we went to warm up. That's kind of where we started our sessions. We'd go out with horses. If it was too cold, we could just do observation through the window, because we would put it in the pasture or where the horses could come up and interact through the window. And so we did that. We built it the December 2007, and we went through our first winter, and in 2008, and we did over 100 sessions. In those months, we would have been closed. So that's that story.
And I think, just speaking briefly to why are you guys outside? Like, there's other things. You maybe saw as Lynn panned out into the space, you can kind of see it behind us. This is life out here. This landscape, this setting, this is real. This is the real stuff. There's so much richness that comes in characters of story that show up when you have frozen poop, when you have a fresh pile, when you have snow that no one else has stepped in and you're the first one to make tracks, when there's mud, when there's ice. All of it provides so much richness for the story, and the weather itself, the wind, the rain, the snow. I said that like a Minnesotan. Snow. It's all part of the story, and so we're outside whenever possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys mentioned you
I'll
have
have
an
to s-
indoor arena, but you never actually use it. Like you stay
Pretty
outside, and I
much. I
love your
mean,
description, Heather.
yeah, what we found, our indoor arena, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
We can show it to you if you want to see it, but it's not insulated and it's not heated. So in the winter, while it's nice to get out of the wind, it's
Mhm.
actually colder in there because the sun hasn't been able to warm anything up. So it can be colder in there than outside.
Mhm.
And it also, like you were saying, Heather, it just, I feel like it limits the deep, I guess, the dynamics of a session, the other pieces that can come and make it.
Right, because we don't normally, you guys, have deer running through our arena or wild turkeys flying into our arena. Like,
Yeah.
those are all things that happen when we're outside, when the wildlife, just shows up in such an incredible way as that new character.
Yeah. Or the cargo plane going from the
Yes.
different military bases and things like that, or the medvac
Mm-hmm.
helicopter going over. Those things all add.
Yep.
And even the snow, the rain.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful perspective, and I know you guys mentioned that in Minnesota, you guys there's maybe a culture of people being out in the cold, but what are some things you guys have learned about supporting clients and even wanting to join you out there in the cold? Like, I think that's one of the biggest concerns is like, well, clients don't want to be this uncomfortable in their sessions,
Well,
or there's that worry
I
about
think
that.
Heather set the
So,
tone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if we have time, I think Lynn could share a beautiful story about someone who was not from here, who showed up on one of the coldest days of the year and just showed up beautifully in it. But the main thing, you guys, is truly how we handle it. If we go out to our client and be like, man, is it cold today? The client is gonna be like, yup, it's cold today. They're gonna match us in that spot. But if
Oops, I think we lost you guys for a minute here, just in this moment. So it's just a black screen now.
Before we head in, maybe, if we're do you want us to show you the cabins quick, or just with their like, since we're out here, observation
Yeah,
cabins?
yeah, sure. Go ahead and do that. That'd be great. I think people would like to see that. We're never really lost. Thanks, Amanda. Oh, man. And just so you guys know, as they're heading out to these cabins, if you come to, we have our Arch Gathering in June at Acres for Life. So you get to come and see this all in person in the summer, not the winter.
Oli says hi, there's lots of fuzz. That's how he handles the winter.
Do you notice that clients, do they want to spend more time touching the horses? They're probably all got their gloves on, so maybe it doesn't matter. Like, I was wondering if they feel the warmth of the horses.
Absolutely. And they'll bury themselves under their manes. And so, yes, the warmth of the horses is a big story.
Mm.
One of the cabins, observation cabins.
I lost them with myself, potentially, but
No, we still see you guys. If
Oh,
you,
good.
if you, we can still see.
So, okay, these are 16 by 16. They have a little heater in them, a little fan, lights. We can watch the horses outside or from inside. This helps us just in all kinds of weather, not just cold. If it's really hot, if it's raining, we have policies, right? If there's lightning, we can't be out in the pasture until 30 minutes from the last lightning flash. So we can be in here and we can still do our work.
Well, and yeah, it's not very big. And I think what I hear you saying is even though you're not in an indoor or anything like that, but there still is a space that people can go and warm up if there is a choice to do that. There.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, a piece of trauma-informed care, right? Like having those choices and those things that we can do.
I also think how we handle it is not like, oh man, let's get in there and warm up. We'll be like, wow, we can see what being inside here and looking out, how that impacts our story today, or, and it is cold, and when do we seek shelter, depending on where the client's story is going. Here, I can show the outfit. Oh yeah. Here's the outfit. Here's our garb.
You might think this is all for style.
Layers,
Oh, yes.
good boots. Baffins are really good boots. We asked our veterinarian, she's out all the time, what keeps her feet warm. We also have, many of our team members have heated vests. We use sometimes hand warmers, foot warmers. Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is for our clients, it's 50 minutes. That's what our sessions usually are. For our teams, it can be, 5 sessions in a row. So that's basically 5 hours. Come in for 10 minutes, warm up, try and get all on layered to go to the bathroom, then layer back up. Our 10 minutes in between goes pretty fast.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like, is it Christmas Story? A Christmas Story where the little kid's all in his snowsuit.
It's so hard to go to the bathroom, you guys, when you have so many layers on. But we persevere. Keeping it real.
And yeah, I think of that. Yeah, as facilitators, you guys are out there all day, like, because you're having 5 hours of sessions or whatever, and your clients are just out there for 50 minutes. But yeah, so that's impressive, because you have how many on your team? You have like a pretty large team of people doing this, being willing to do this.
We have 15 people, or 13 people, and then some subs, and then we have 15 horses right now. Dog, cats, goats, chickens. Yep.
So, so back to, not only are you motivating your staff through this and this severe cold, but also back to the clients too. Is there anything else you guys have experienced with your clients that has helped prepare them, or that they feel like this is like totally normal to go out into whatever the weather elements are,
I would just add that, onto that, people show up in the winter, I think, more consistently than in the summer. Like on a beautiful 75-degree day, it feels like we have more cancellations or no shows because they're off doing stuff. In the winter, maybe they feel like they don't have anything else to do. I might as well go to therapy. I don't know, but it feels like they show up, and most of them prepared for the weather. But we've had over the years people that maybe are in residential treatment. They went to residential not thinking they were going to be outside with horses, and so we've over the years collected coats, hats, mittens, boots, and we could go in and show you guys that stall so people can layer up if they need to, or if our team needs to.
And it's so interesting, right? Because every client knows that the resource stall is there,
and some may choose to use the resources provided and some won't.
Yep.
And that's part of the story, because where else in life are they maybe not utilizing resources that are readily available? And then there's also development of natural consequences. Like we had a sibling group who, where they're like, nah, we're good, and they went out without anything. Within 10 minutes, they're like, you know what? I think it would be a good idea to go in and get gloves and hats and scarves. And we're acting like it's the best idea we've ever heard. We're like, that's a wonderful idea. Didn't do that. I told you so. But right. It's awesome. It's just ways to learn about life.
Yeah. I remember one of our first times going through the winter was a Hazelden group that was coming.
Oh,
up.
yeah.
It's a group of guys, and they're at Hazelden Betty Forge for addiction recovery treatment, residential. And they came out, and it was January. It was below zero. And we were in our new observation room, and it was warm and toasty, and we had hot chocolate going, and they were just like jackets open and all lounging in there. And we're like, we're suited up. We're like, okay, let's go. And they were like, what? We're not going. You're crazy. It's so cold outside. We can't go outside. We'll just sit in here all day. And I remember we looked at each other and said, well, wow, did you not go to the liquor store in the winter?
Yep.
And they're like, no, we did. Did you not go meet your dealer? Or, and they're like, no, we did. And we're like, well, guess what? Recovery doesn't stop in the winter either. Just suit up and let's go out. And they're like, oh, okay, we get it. And you have to have the right resources, right? To be able to step into recovery in any sort of weather or challenge or just life in general, like you were saying earlier, Heather.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that story too. I mean, these are amazing stories. Thank you guys. And that one, I think it was a veteran or someone that showed up again and kind of unexpected. Was a bit surprised to see you guys looking like you are right now, bundled up like this.
Wow, Lynn.
What was it? Can you share that one too?
Yeah, so we walked out and, we meet our clients at their vehicles. We do have spaces, and in the summer where they can sit outside, the red Adirondack chairs and the white ones, and people may wait there. But in the winter or in inclement weather, they wait in their cars. And so we come out and we're dressed like this, and he opens his door and he said, "We're doing this?" And we're like, yeah, we're doing this. And he's like, man, this is not the VA. Let me just, we're like, nope, it's not. He goes, this is different. All right, let's do this. And we just went into session, and he showed up every time ready to go then from there on.
Yeah. Oh, love that. So yeah, Valerie mentions here, when we work with first responders and veterans, we know they will show up because they are trained to do the job regardless of weather. So that's here too. We were always taught that firefight shootings don't stop because of rain. So
Yeah.
And then we've had a couple. Well, actually, we'll come back to Double Hearts. You have some questions about the gear, but let's come back to that about the gear when you guys go show us in the gear closet and how you prepare the clients. Some more on that. But Eleanor had a question too about, are there any stories where it didn't work out so well, like with the weather or with inviting them to go out into the weather, I guess. Eleanor, if you want to add any more in the comments, if I'm missing what you had shared there. Your not so good experiences where it did not work out.
Do you have any example, Eleanor, or maybe a little more clear of what not working out looks like?
That's great. Because that right there, tell us about that thought, the fact that you're asking that question, Lynn. Say more about that.
I mean, I feel like I have a story that speaks to that, in that we were working with a group, and it was 10 below, and we were out with the group, and we'd laid out this thing, and the group kind of did it, kind of didn't do it.
This is a great story.
Went back in the little warming cabin. They're out there having hot cocoa. They're out there doing all the things, right?
They're inside.
Yeah, they're inside doing all the things, having hot cocoa. We decided as a facilitation team that we're staying out here because we knew that they hadn't done what they had said they were going to do. they're looking to us to try to be like, just tell us we did it. Well, they go inside. They're inside for about 45 minutes, feet up, hot cocoa. We're standing outside 10 below.
I mean, we're here, right? We can see where they
Yep.
are. So it's not like that we're in a different major location. You know, we can still see that.
Yeah. The van comes to pick them up. They all get on the van. We go to process the next day and they were furious. They're like, we paid good money and we sat in there having hot cocoa by ourselves for 45 minutes while you guys are outside.
You didn't help us.
You
We
didn't do
get our
anything.
therapy.
It went on and on. We were quiet. We did good.
Yeah.
We were quiet. We held the space. And within about 15 minutes, it's quiet. And then one voice said, we know we didn't do it. I'm like, And they began to process. And this group to this day is one of our most powerful groups because their motto became, we got to put our boots on. Because they'd all gone inside. They took their boots off.
With their feet up.
They didn't want to be uncomfortable. We're like, well, guess what? Change is uncomfortable. Life is uncomfortable. And so for them, that motto of we've got to put our boots on and get back out there, they actually had t-shirts made and it was incredible. And one of them called us, 3 years later? And he said, I want you to know I still got my boots on. And so that could have been one where we're like, well, that didn't go too well. They all went inside, but that ended up being the greatest learning that this group had.
I mean, yes, I love that story. So great. We have lots of stories like that. I mean, where the client shows up and they maybe, you know, don't want to go out.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we've had ones not want to get out of the car. And we've actually at some, we've driven the truck or the car out into the pasture and let the horses interact around that with the mom, the parents' approval, right? And that was interesting.
And just remembering that we always have choice out here. We're never forcing anyone to go outside. It's part of the story if they don't want to go out, right? It's information. We have warm spaces available and we ebb and flow with whatever is needed. Just like with our horses, you may have noticed some of them have coats on, some of them don't. It's based on what they need.
Right. And I think one of the key things about that story with the group and them going in is they never even acknowledged to us they were going in. They didn't take responsibility to be like, you know what? I need to go in to take care of me. I think we would have joined them had they done that, but they just went off and did. And some didn't want to. Many shared later they were uncomfortable, but followed the lead, peer pressure and the leader of the group. And it was all great recovery skills and recovery topics and learning.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, your guys' stories, I always get tears in my eyes. They're so powerful and such a cool example for all of us listening. So thank you. Were you going to say something, Heather?
I was just thinking too how sometimes it not going well, it might look like people come out into the space and are like, ew, gross. Like they're looking at the footing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, it's slippery or it's hard to walk or it's all of these things. It's like, yeah, that's life. And so we talk a lot about having sensible shoes that will get us through whatever it is we face in life. If you come over here, you'll see we've got some ice situation. And then over here, there's a lot of poo, guys, a lot of poo. And this is not an area where they normally poo. This is an area that was pure ice that is on the way to their automatic waterer. And so out here we make poo piles and poo trails because guess what? It gives us traction.
Yeah, because we've tried over the years to find things that would, sand on ice or grit on ice, and nothing works quite as well than what the horses taught us. We learned from them watching how they move. They will walk where their poop trails are. And so we started making those to the places they need to get to, shelter, to food, to water. And it helps us. Our clients don't like it as much when we put the poop out into the parking lot, because then it's like, oh, now they're taking it into their cars. But this year this parking lot was completely like an ice skating rink. It was the worst year of ice we've ever seen, really. So it was a challenge.
Yep.
Well, I think that's probably goes along with another question around safety and just any ways, considerations around people slipping and falling and whatever, hypothermia. I don't know if they can get hypothermia, but yeah, just what are your thoughts on what you guys do to prepare the space and everything from a safety standpoint?
Well, I know, we'll talk about, it's like, all right, let's do the shuffle. And we're all shuffling together, and, we've got each other's arms if anyone needs it. We're finding safe routes. Again, all of this is totally part of the story, part of their treatment plans. It's just like a treatment plan live in action. It's pretty incredible. I think one thing we think of a lot when we're facilitating is when it's icy, when there's horse movement or people movement, we need to be aware that we might not be able to move as quickly, and the horses might be moving in ways that they're not expecting as well.
Right.
So we're always keeping that in mind.
Yeah. Gripper shoes, there's those ice grippers, the cleats you can put on the bottom of your boots. We do have clients that will wear those. We try to make pathways around. We just incorporate it though, like how are we going to make it through this spot here and keep us all safe, or are we going to stay back? And it's a choice, and then mindful of why we made that choice, client wise, why today is it making sense to stay in.
And Valerie mentions unstable ground and learning to navigate through the pastures are great metaphors for navigating through unstable or challenges in life.
100%. Amen, sister. Is Rebecca John on the Facebook Live?
Well, I saw her earlier.
Okay, well, let's show her her guy. This is Pete.
This is Rebecca's boy.
He donated him 2 acres, so it'll be on the video if he watches it later. He's not here.
Yay! Oh, look, there she is. Yes, Becca is here with us.
He's a fan favorite for sure. Oh, yeah.
Becca says, love me some Petey. Thank you. Yeah, and about the safety connection, Eleanor, connection to help look out for each other, sense of self, awareness of others, awareness of choice, ability to ask for what you need. Yeah.
Yep.
So I know that we have the gear, and at one point you're going to show the gear. Is that inside? Would you guys be heading inside for that? Is there anything else you want to do while we're outside though with you?
I would just show we do. So it gets dark. We mentioned that earlier. It gets dark around 4:30, 5 o'clock. In the winter here, our sessions can go to 8. And we have lights that we have put on poles in a couple spots in the pastures, and we light them up. I think some of the most beautiful, wonderful sessions are actually at night out here in the winter, where it's so quiet. The insulation of the snow, the moonlight, the stars, the sounds of the night, the lights that we turn on, the lights when we don't turn them on, all that just makes such rich story. Yes, it does.
So that's beautiful, you guys. And I think, I know Julie's mentioning here too, that you guys are definitely probably opening up a lot of perspectives. Julie mentioned, I've always assumed I couldn't do sessions in winter or people wouldn't want to. And I do think a lot of people have those assumptions. And I think you guys are really helping the people rethink. Oh, and Julie says, now I'm totally rethinking this. I was about to say, you're helping us rethink all of this.
That was totally me in the beginning. Definitely. I just figured people wouldn't want to, or we couldn't do it, or we didn't have a nice enough place. We had to have
The joys of life. Yes.
So, yeah, I was just saying, I also thought things needed to be, there's all our horses.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
The horses who've passed the memorial rocks.
Yes, we have memorial stones for our friends. Okay.
So I had this expectation that if we did do sessions in the winter, the only way we could do it would be to have a beautiful indoor heated arena, and the place wasn't like good enough. So that idea of being good enough, let me turn the light.
This is our resource stall. Lynn's turning on a light for us here, so hopefully you guys can see it better. But we have all different kinds of shoes and boots, mud boots, winter boots, adorable little baby boots. And then all sorts of coats and gloves and hats. You name it, we've got it. All body sizes, types.
Cowboy boots.
Yeah, fancy even ones. Woo! So,
Yeah, is this something you've collected over the years, Heather and Lynn,
yes.
or people donated, or how did
Yes.
you guys collect all?
Yeah.
Yep, just collected and donated over all the years. We've had people that have been clients with us that were like, hey, I remember that resource stall and I found these at the Goodwill, and
my kids grew up. And now we
yes.
don't need them anymore, but I know you guys could use them.
Yep. And so this way everyone has whatever they might need, and then they can choose what they want to use. So yeah.
So what I was saying about expectations before, about, I thought we had to have this perfect arena and everything before we could go through the winter. It was December 31st. And I think it was maybe 08. I don't know when it was, because we had the first observation room. But Hazelden Renewal Center called and said, we have a person that's staying over this holiday and they want to come out and do equine. And I'm like, oh, it's cold. And I don't know if, and what if it's not good enough? And what if, because we didn't have fancy, we just work with what we have and show up in what we have and go with it. Right. And honor what it's brought and the history of the buildings and the history of the land and all that, right? And I remember calling Heather and saying, I know it's New Year's Eve day, but would you be willing to come out to do a couple-hour session with me? And she said, yes, of course. And so she came out, and I had mentioned to the Renewal Center at Hazelden, please tell this person that we're going to be out with the horses. We're going to be out in poo and dirt and, the elements, and horses have hair, and, have them wear their oldest stuff to come out, because, and I was really I was emphasizing that because it was my style. I was like, oh my God, they just need to know. So they said, sure. And they did. And they told her. So here the time comes, the van pulls up to transportation to bring this person. And the door opens up. Heather and I come out of the little observation room to greet, as I had practiced when we didn't have clients, but the client opens up the door, and what falls out first is a full-length mink coat. The bottom of it flows out, and I was like, a mink coat? I'm looking at Heather like, oh my God, this is my worst fear. Like, she has expectations I could never meet. And this place isn't like that. And it's just like an everyday Joe's place, And so she gets out, we shake her hand, we welcome, she comes in, she takes off her mink coat, lays it on the chair, and she, we start doing our processing, welcoming and what we do out here, and getting her story and what she wants to work on. And our barn cat had joined us in there, and I look over, Heather and I are like, Heather's eyes are really big. I look over and our barn cat is laying on her mink coat, cleaning herself.
Yeah, doing little biscuits and cleaning all over.
And we're like, oh my goodness. So we jump up to move the cat and the woman goes, no. That's my old coat. That's fine. And I was like, okay. It's all perspective, right?
Yup.
Oh my gosh, I love that, you guys. Let's see. I think let's see. People have been talking about donkeys now too. Back to the donkey. People are just loving the resource stall idea. And I think again, I wanted to emphasize you guys didn't have this. In fact, you didn't even have this facility at all when you first started. So you're sharing these stories from when you didn't have all of this. And so you've accumulated stuff over the years. But I love just the idea we can still create a comfortable space and do things to prepare our clients that this is just what we do and it's part of the experience.
I really do think how we show up and our attitude, and Heather's really taught me that around cold or anything we have to do. If we show up with a can-do attitude and we're going to step into it and do it together and figure it out, it works, and clients they follow along and they're like, oh, okay. If we were to go out and be like, oh my gosh, it's so cold, and do you want to stay in? Because they would most likely want to stay in, you know?
And we will totally, like, now the clients will get out of their car and they'll be like, well, there's no bugs. It's like, you are right. There are no bugs. And sometimes the wind is whipping and the snow is whipping. And we'll be like, all right, let's do Little House on the Prairie style. Let's tie baling twine to ourselves so we can find the barn. And everyone's just laughing. I mean, I remember one time we had a client come out and it was a snowstorm, like it was intensely snowy, and she's all gung-ho to be there. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go out and find my Magic. And Magic is this big black woolly horse that we had years ago. And she wanders off into the darkness and she's looking for him. And then all of a sudden we hear, oomph, found him. He was like coated in snow on the one side. And so it's things like that just, it's what life is all about.
Yeah, exactly. And now we can do telehealth too. So that's helped, like for roads and travel. There are times when if the schools are closing, we'll close, right? If the road conditions are too icy to travel, and we can offer telehealth, which we have a whole protocol of how we do the ARCH framework and mindset with telehealth and using pictures and videos and all of that.
Yep.
Wow. Well, you guys, this has been amazing. Like a lot of the comments, I love this comment here that you've blown assumptions to smithereens, which I think is amazing. I mean, that even, someone say, the idea of even doing sessions after it got dark and just how you guys have just your perspective about it and how it's really impacted your sessions in positive ways. Do you guys have any other thoughts that you want to share? Or if anybody is is watching and you have any more comments you want to ask, and please share in the comments. But any other ideas or thoughts or anything you want to leave us with?
And I think following the natural flow of the story and comfort, like remembering that comfort, we want to be safe, obviously, and not put people in danger, but also checking our SOS on comfort, or our thoughts and really checking out the client and where's the story going. All that. I think that's just how we show up in this model. We do with ARCH, we've been able to expand and to use it with, we have the horses out in the space, of course. We have the goats that are usually inside in a stall here, or in the summer outside in their space. We have an art supply stall. I don't know if you want to show that out here. We've collected over years that we just have art supplies of all different things that if it's too cold or somebody maybe just needs to be inside and play a game, Legos. All of this stuff is available too. We have a beautiful new sensory stall that one of our teammates and support from others with donations have just created for us right down here. if someone needs to have some time and space to just kind of do some settling in the sensory stall. So, yeah. And we have a big tractor right here.
Well, and this is part of winter too, because the whole reason we had to bring this friend in is because the hydraulics were frozen and there was so much snow and ice in the bucket where Lynn is sitting that we couldn't use it. And so we pulled it in here to defrost, and that became part of the story too. So everything is part of everything.
Oh gosh, guys, this has been amazing. And I know there's been lots of comments, including about your facility. This is what I want to be when I grow up as a new property.
Just don't give up. I mean, it took us 25 years to be here.
And the old property, I mean, where we started, we had the feed room attached to an old dairy. It was actually where the bulk tank sat for the dairy, right? And we would just open the door, put a couple chairs in there and look out from, that door towards the horses if the weather was bad. Our offices were a remodeled old granary building that was not very well insulated. Wind would blow up through the cracks in the floor. We had a little propane fireplace in there that we would huddle around. We had the gloves with the fingers out, so you have the knit part and then you have your fingers out so you could type. We had heating pads keeping us warm. Yeah, it's
Did you guys?
we are
you had your porta potties you had the porta potties that you had
we still do
extension cord that had a little portable heater in the porta potty. Remember
Yeah,
that?
and people would stay in there for a really long
We feel
time.
like you need to come out just because the heater's in there. You can't do your session the whole time in the porta potty. I mean, you could, but
Well,
we probably need to see you.
and honestly, like when people are like, oh, it's too cold to use the porta potty, it's like, you know what? It is so much nicer this time of year than in August.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do this. So again, it's just like we can do this attitude.
Yes. So we have the porta potties. What else around heaters? I was just thinking about. I don't know. Anyway, we are very blessed to be in this space here where we started. We just went with what we had and built it as we went and as people showed up, right? And as the need kept getting in front of us, we would follow that need and support it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, this has been so amazing. I think you've inspired all of us listening to the call for sure and opened up, like I said, our perspectives of all the possibilities. Let's see. No more only doing warm weather coaching excuses. I love your candy attitude. That's awesome. Wow.
We do we ask ourselves why, like you started out, like, why do you do this? But we know why we do it. It's our calling, our purpose to see the miracles, to see the transformations, and to just show up with people. So and get all teary eyed, which I don't want to do in the winter because
they'll freeze.
But, yeah.
Oh, I love that. And always smile because when your face freezes, that's amazing. So,
That's right.
but yeah, it really is inspiring and everything's part of the story and being with that story and the can do. I know a lot of people were mentioning that too. So, you guys, thank you for sharing your experience with all of us. It's so helpful. And look forward to seeing you guys next time we do Arch Live, or if you're a member of Arch, we do 2 community calls a month where we're having these kinds of discussions and learning with each other, because I think so many of you guys doing this work have a lot of amazing experiences to share and stuff. So we love to learn with each other and look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn and Heather.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.